We good to go? Oh, there we go. Good morning. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll begin by reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join us this morning for a moment of silence. Thank you. This morning, we are in the recipient of an envelope here that was placed in 1976 time capsule, and it was scheduled to be sent to the presiding judge or county supervisor in the year 2026. I'm not sure what's in this, but we're going to open it this morning, and we're going to find out what the people said 50 years ago. I may need it.
I don't have a knife.
Is the envelope opener in there? It was in the folder.
Oh, it's in the. Oh, it is in the folder. Yeah. I'm going to. We have a newspaper that featured the Franklin County Planning and Building Departments from Thursday, November 28th, 1974, is in this packet. I'll pass that if you want to look at that. We also have a picture in here from the June 10th of 1969 paper. A newsletter from the Soil and Water Conservation District of Franklin County from 1974.
Looks like Hugh McCain was the presiding commissioner or the judge back then.
We have a newsletter from 1973 from the Soil and Water District of Franklin County. And we also have another letter in here from 1975, newsletter from the Soil and Water Conservation District. We have I believe this to be a message. It says to the Franklin County Planning Department staff, to the 2026 Franklin County Court. This message is to wish all those who witnessed the opening of this 2026 time capsule a very happy and prosperous future, that tomorrow's problems will be alleviated by yesterday's planning, that we have future generations will have the same or better rights as we have today. It was signed by Ulrich Bush, Planning Director, Richard Ohlenberg, the Assistant Planning Director, Alan Tobin, the Planning Technician, Beatrice Stowe, Secretary, and Wanda Lee Obermark, Secretary. And then we also have another paper from the Washington Gazette, where the courthouse was bombed and the Union Bank robbed in November 16th, 1969. We also have a summary of estimates that was the damage created to the Franklin County Courthouse. A grand total of $166,287.48 to repair the things that were damaged in the bombing. That's interesting. I bet you couldn't get it done for that today.
166,000.
That's Judge Davis.
This is from the League of Women Voters of the Four Rivers area. Prepared the following list of questions and answers concerning the Franklin County Planning Department. It's a number of questions. Again, this was something they were considering back in 1976. One question, I'll just add one question. I won't read through all of them, but one was, what is the minimum lot size outside of a planned subdivision or mobile home park upon which a residence or mobile home can be built? The answer was a lot by 200 feet by 100 feet less than a half acre was determined as the minimum on the basis of a minimum area required when a septic tank or drain field or jet system, disposal system is being used. The rumor that 2 to 5 acres of land is required for a single residence or a home is false. Interesting questions and answers from the Planning and Zoning Department, but from the League of Women Voters. Interesting. Very interesting for us to be able to look back 50 years ago that someone created all this and put it in a time capsule for us to open in today. Ken, you want to look at that? We'll get into the more of that, but anyway, we opened that today, so very interesting times. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from July 14, 15, and 16.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of July 14th, July 15th, and July 16th of this year.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. We've approved the minutes from the 14th, 15th working session and the 16th workshop. We have a number of public comments on our list this morning.
For agenda items?
What's that?
I believe those are for non.
Oh, these are non-agenda items. Okay. These are all make sure. I don't see anything of anyone speaking on agenda items at this point. Everything is on after non-agenda items. Number of action items today. First being 2026-1-185, approving the execution of a statement of work with Sikich for the Franklin County Auditor's Office.
I'll make a motion we approve.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We approve 2026-185. Next is Commission Order 2026-186, a service agreement with Stericycle for the Franklin County Health Department. Do we have a motion?
Well, I didn't know if he was going to tell us what it was. I'll make a motion, we approve Commission Order 2026, TAC 186.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We would approve 2026-186. Next is Commission Order 2026-187, approving and accepting a quote from Network Innovations for the Franklin County Health Department.
I'll make a motion we approve.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You've approved 2026-187. Finally is 2026-188 is the consent agenda, and that is the Recorder of Deeds fees for June and the Treasurer Alley for 12 months.
Make a motion, we approve Commission Order 2026, TAC 188.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You've approved 2026-188. Now we are on to the comments on non-agenda items. At this point, I'll remind you each time, I'm certain we're all aware, that I'll give you a 15-second notification for your comments. Get my stopwatch started. First is Jessica Nicodermo from Pacific.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I didn't have much to plan for this, so it's going to be kind of all over the place. Sorry about that. Planning commissions should use wider discretion when making recommendations, weighing a community character and quality of life in their deliberations, and they should take public opposition seriously. But none of this will happen and hasn't. The system is built to reward money and influence, and nothing is likely to change as long as wealth is prized over humanity. But every so often we get a glimpse behind the curtain, and we are rightly appalled. A study came out July 2026 from Oklahoma State University, the Division of Agricultural Science and Natural Resources. Understanding the proposal and what is being approved, these are the things you should consider. Is this proposal for a single building, or is it part of a larger campus or phase development? How many phases are planned? What specific triggers approval for each phase, future phase? What is the maximum total build out allowed under the current zoning or development agreements? Are future expansions subject to public hearing, or can they proceed administratively? Are approvals tied to the specific operators, or can the facility be sold, leased, or transferred without public review? And can buildings density, computing density, or infrastructure capacity increase those reopening approvals? Also, at the bottom of this report, it says, bottom line, the reoccurring documentable issue is not that every model hides abatements. Several formal plans disclose them. The stronger finding is the public-facing summaries commonly foreground the large benefit figure, while the abatement, full build-out, dependency, equipment refresh assumptions, non-completion risks require a deep read. Franklin County can avoid that problem by requiring a single public table that places gross taxes, abatements, net payment assumptions, and enforceable guarantee side by side. And when reviewing all of this, I went ahead and read your master plan. I know it's way outdated. It was wrote in 2010 and approved 2012, I believe. And so, real quick, goal 1, encourage planned supportive growth in the community. Goal 2, encourage a variety of land use throughout the county. And 3, ensure continuous land uses are compatible. I'm telling you, this is not compatible if we have subdivisions and families around. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Gene Elkins.
Good morning,
Good
Gene
morning.
Elkins. I live at 2578 Sugar Lick Road in rural Pacific, a few hundred yards from the McLaren farm. You may recall a couple of weeks ago that as a trustee of the Northwoods Estates Property Owners Association, we have made multiple requests to the commission to meet, and those requests continue to be ignored. So since Mr. Schatz won't respond, Mr. Cox, will you meet with us? You don't want to answer that question? Mr. Overschmidt, will you meet with us? You don't want to answer that question either. This is grossly unfair. We are your constituents in this county. We have important questions regarding your due diligence on the Beltline matter in the McLaren farm. We deserve a response and your respect as constituents. You're up for a vote here pretty soon. You don't represent this county well when you're silent. Please respond to the request from Scott Michael, my fellow trustee. We have important questions for you. We deserve answers. Thank you.
Gene, what was your last name?
Elkins.
Elkins, Elkins. My address is 2578 Sugar Lake Road in Pacific. Thank you.
Mr. Elkins, I will visit with you at the end of this thing because obviously if there's been attempts to schedule meetings, I am unaware, and if they've been overlooked, they will be addressed, but I have not seen those specific requests. So I will visit with you after that.
This is number 5. Thank you.
Yeah. Next is Nancy Watson.
Presiding Commissioner Schatz, Commissioner
Good morning.
Cox, and Commissioner Overschmidt. Again, I'm Nancy Watson. I live in rural Pacific. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I've been attending your meetings for 6 months. I live in Calvi Township. At my first Franklin County Commissioners meeting in February 2026, I asked if the Calvi Township Commissioner on the Planning and Zoning Commission might have a conflict of interest, since he had spoken on January 27th, 2026, at the Pacific Alderman's meeting about his contract with Beltline. I did not get an answer. Going back, at the January 27, 2026 meeting, the Calvi Township Commissioner, Bill McLaren, said he did not attend the January 20, 2026 P&Z meeting in Union because he had to recuse himself due to conflict. He said if he was there and had to recuse himself, it would have created more problems. At the Pacific meeting, public comments were overwhelmingly in opposition. That opposition to both data centers in Franklin County continues to this day. The residents do not want them. Bill McLaren resigned from the P&Z on March 16th, 2026. I have confirmed that he has not been replaced. On the next day, at the P&Z hearing, which was March 17th, 2026, Calvi Township was not represented. Mike Klinke of Bowles Township recused himself. The two townships with data center proposals are Bowles Township and Calvi Township. The lack of representation for the residents in those townships is another matter for you as our commissioners to consider as you review the testimonies, speeches, studies, and concerns provided by the people. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Next is Ann Hayden.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For the record, I oppose data centers on rural land. And I want to say, if we are so misinformed about the impact of data centers, please give us the information. We've been pleading with you for months for answers, but none are discussed. Why? Is it because of this commission order that you signed? It's commission order number 2025-372. It's dated December 23rd, 2025. It's a mutual confidential disclosure with BLE Land Holdings. Do you recall last week you said you didn't sign an NDA? This reads like an NDA. Does it not, Mark? Oh, he's not paying attention. Well, that's impressive. I mean, secrecy, really? That's what this document says. Your signatures are here at the bottom. Did you not agree to this? I'm just curious. He's still not paying attention. So do you have another one of these with Provident? Because this is the one with BLE. Who pays your salary? We the people do. We're asking for transparency, not secrecy. You have a responsibility to us to do a good job. If you're doing things in secret, this is not a good job. I want you to stop listening to the slick data salesman. They're just feeding you a bunch of lies. You need to start listening to we the people. Who do we the people in this room represent? We represent the townships that you're supposed to represent. We aren't representing some out-of-state developers. We represent the citizens of Franklin County. We expect impact studies. We expect you to represent us. Stop being blinded by the phantom unicorn money. It's not going to be there. It's a shell game. The citizens pay taxes, and we pay your salary. Stop ignoring us. This is horrible that you signed this, and then you said you didn't.
Just a point of clarification that there was never a statement that we didn't sign it. We no longer have a NDA in place. That was terminated. That NDA was terminated. So
Where's that documentation? Because if it's not in writing, it does not exist.
we can provide that information. So
I would love that. Thank you.
next is Karen Fuse.
Hi, my name is Karen Foose. I live in Pacific. With all this controversy going on, I sit here and think about what upsets me the most. And what upsets me the most is that the honesty that's going on. I kind of got upset the other day. Mr. Overschmidt wrote on Facebook, in recent months, I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Eckelkamp on matters related to the proposed data center development. I asked, have you worked with other experts that will not make a profit off the hyper data center? We cannot just depend on people to discuss this with that will make a profit, whether it is the seller of the property, the data center developer, or the firms that you are hiring to do your studies so that it will be approved. I understand that the developers help the commissioners to set regulations on the data center, and that you loved that they agreed with you at the first meeting I went to. When you were investigating your regulations, did you go to educated experts in the field that would not make money on this project? That's a very important factor. Have you gone to third parties to find out the good and the bad about data centers, not companies that just make money off of them? Have you worked with people or experts that are experts in the fields that the hyper data centers would affect that will not make a profit on your project? This is all redundant. I keep saying this. Have you hired electrical experts to see if Ameren can really provide power without affecting the residents of the area? Do you realize that our government has allowed them to be the second worst polluter in the country, and now you want to increase their demand? Outside experts in how this will affect us, our water, our electric, our aquifers, we need outside experts to talk about this. Are you going to limit construction hours? Talk to the environmental experts that are now working, that are not working for the data centers, to see how this will affect our environment, our water, our air, and our noise. I am so proud Pacific, the officials listened to the citizens. They realized they had real concerns what a hyper data center could do to the area and the environment. They're placing a hold on these developments until research with experts is done in this field. I am so disappointed in you. You do not listen. I've got my time. I'm good. You do not listen. You sit there and worry about your 2 minutes and 45 seconds. You will not discuss anything with us. You will not explain anything to us. You are not telling us what's good for this county, but you will not discuss it. Please do your job and be sure you're doing what is best for all citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, for your comments. Next, Jenny Voss.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First question, do you care about the citizens that live in Eastern Franklin County? Can you guarantee that no citizen, young or old, will not be harmed by pollution or dust? Can you guarantee that no citizen, young or old, will not be harmed by constant noise or infrasound that you probably don't believe in? This includes students at Coleman Elementary School, again, less than a half a mile away, right across the highway, and those with autism and other disorders. Our most vulnerable will feel the effects even more. Can you guarantee that not one single citizen will be harmed by the hyperscale data center in any shape or form? I don't think you can guarantee any of those questions. If one single person is harmed, then no amount of money is worth it. You know, lawsuits will haunt the county for years, if not decades to come. We have given you hundreds of articles and studies about environmental impacts, sound, infrasound, and EMF waves. Have you read them? Are you going to require studies to be done to make sure our citizens are safe? We really would like to know. And I know studies are only required when federal and state funds are used on county projects, but why can't the county be proactive and perform independent and unbiased studies with the client paying for it? Studies were performed for the Labadie landfill. If you vote to approve these data centers, are you going to be held negligent for not doing your due diligence? Even if it is 5 years down the road, we have warned you of all the ill effects of these hyperscale data centers. If you are afraid to vote no, then make the regulations stricter. Make it so that every house, school, or church must be 3,000 feet away from any part of the data center. And if that seems to be too harsh for your liking, but not ours, at least make every part of the data center, including switch stations, at least 1,000 feet from every house, church, and school. And one final question. At the May Marathon meeting, how many Franklin County citizens not associated with the projects spoke up in favor of these data center regulations or sites? The answer is 0. Just vote no on all of this, so we all can get back to our daily lives so that we can live in peace. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Rhonda Brackett.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to remind all of you, we do not want a hyperscale data center in these proposed areas. I understand Franklin County plans to hire Springline Advisory to study the tax impacts of data centers. I wonder if they have considered other options and if Springline is the best choice. It would seem prudent to talk with others in the industry as well, and I encourage you to check into other possibilities. I also believe an environmental study needs to be done before any study about money. Please do an environmental study. An environmental study would tell you much more information about how it will affect the environment so that you could then include that in any studies about monies. These studies should be paid for by the developer. It appears the developer is building the data center and does not even know who will occupy it. This leads me to think that he, as well as other developers, are going around the country to see what they can push through without having an end user. This only makes sense because they make money building them. Once a data center is built, tearing up our land, destroying our roads, and more, then a company unknown will be there to occupy the data center. The reason we need strict rules and regulations not written by a developer, with probably 100 jobs. All the construction jobs will be gone. Those people will move on. And during that time, there will be a disruption of land and water, noise from the construction work, roads will be torn up, and more. Some companies are even backing out due to the bad publicity around hyperscale data centers. For instance, Google and Amazon seem to be going in. Many of us are boycotting them and not using them, or using them sparingly. I would like to point out that Missouri is offering huge tax incentives. State sales tax exemption, 100% on eligible purchases. Local sales tax exemption, 100% on eligible local sales and use taxes, which is probably why the amendments of 5 are being pushed. Duration up to 15 years for a new facility, and expansion up to 10 years. Eligible data centers can receive exemptions on many of the major costs of the building and operating of a facility, including. I would like to encourage you, please read this. Please do your research. We really do not want one, and there's no benefit. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, Janine Kreider.
I left some information over here. It shows my property and how it's responding to the conditions that we currently have right now. Also, my husband, Douglas Kreider, has left 2 messages with David Schatz for a meeting and with no response whatsoever. I've also emailed all 3 of you an educational video from Tammy Clark and Kristen Megan Kelly. They are experts in the field of they're environmental hygienists and OSHA experts. And since you choose not to listen, I have my time that I'm going to let you listen to an excerpt of what these ladies are saying. You need to understand that we are taking baseline measurements of our well. We're having our water tested, and any illnesses that are acute because of these that come up, you are going to be culpable for because you have been informed and you have not taken the time to educate yourself. If you had, you would not be doing this.
I don't know much about data centers other than they store information or compute information, I guess. I know that NVIDIA stock's gone way up because of these data centers. So people have made money off of that. I'm sure they're making money in all sorts of ways.
Oh, Wall Street is truly driving this. Yeah.
It's all about the money.
That's what everything's about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this whole, I mean, the amount of money that they're investing in AI alone is astounding. And are they getting any return off of that? I mean,
it's artificial, but
not the claimed ROI. So a lot of these farmers, like you guys are experiencing here, is that, as we know, all across America, farmers are hurting. I'm against government bailouts, but if you're going to bail out any industry, it should be our food industry driven by these farmers. And so, they're hurting, and a lot of them are generational farms. And, it's passed down and they're just hurting. And these companies come in and say, we'll just lease this section of your land for a solar farm or data center. And they promise this, income that will be generated. And it's not what they think, but also it's ruining their other farming prospects, whether it's for food or it's ranching.
Right.
And we'll dive into that. But a lot of people think that they're just harmless, and they think that they're bringing something to their community that's helping. And I'm very liberty-minded. I go by the principle of I don't care what you do as long as you don't harm another person or your property. And I'm very, protective of property rights. But you just can't do things on your own property that creates a massive greater hazard for your neighbors. I can't sit there and I don't know if you've seen those news stories where they find people had labs on their property. We don't need a lab leak in the neighborhood. Yeah. So you can't just do whatever you want on your property if it's harming others. And it's not just people, it's horses, it's animals, it's plant life, it's your whole ecosystem. So
100%. Yeah. I'm very much the same way. To each their own, unless you start interfering with other people.
Okay. Well, you've been informed. And you've had the information sent to you.
Dana Bowers.
You might not like what I have to say, but it is what it is. I have my own time. Thank you. Ken, you want to know why more people don't show up to these meetings? It's because you're allowing Dave to be in violation of state statute 610.020. These meetings are not convenient for the public to be here. If they were, there would be more people. Dave, last week after the meeting, you stated you were serving with Kehoe at the state level. You helped put together legislation during a time frame that they were taking data centers down into southern Missouri. 30 seconds later, you state data centers were not on Kehoe's agenda. It's all over his website. Then 30 seconds later, you have the audacity to say that you didn't even know anything about data centers until the two proposals came to Franklin County. Do you even know what you're saying when you say it anymore? You've told so many lies on top of lies on top of lies. Now you don't even know what lies you've told anymore. Honestly, does your asshole get jealous of the shit that comes out of your mouth? It's kind of like the illegal campaign
Dana,
flyers.
we're not going to tolerate
No,
that
constitutional
language.
rights. No. Constitutional rights do not violate them. Interpretation discrimination. I'm going to start my time back again.
Your time's already running, so you're sitting there talking. Your time is running.
No, I'm going to tell you right now. Constitutional rights, Dave. Don't violate our constitutional rights anymore. Stop. You're a liar, manipulator. We're done with the corruption. We, the people, are not your minions. You have literally saying, bring us facts. We've done that. You all are ignoring us. You say you don't believe that they're facts, even though we know here, all of us in this county, that they are facts. You're running us in circles, spinning our wheels. More facts for you. Etcher has been involved in Festus, Montgomery County, Warren County, Nottoway County, and now he's here. This raises important questions, and these are very important questions I think you two gentlemen need to be very well aware of. Is he being hired to independently scrutinize the project or to help determine how a deal could be structured? Will his study clearly show the total taxes that would normally be owed, the amount forgiven through abatements, the amount actually received? I mean, there's a multitude of questions here. I'm going to leave this for you two gentlemen because obviously he doesn't give a rat's ass. You want to force us taxpayers to use our tax money that we have paid to this county to hire a firm to figure out the potential tax structure of money we're not going to give any more to you. Why are you not forcing the developer to pay this fee to have this done? This should not be our responsibility that they want to bring this monstrosity into our county. They should have to prove to us why it needs to be here. They should have to pay for this, not us. How dare you offer up those of us that live in the Bowles and Calvi Township areas as sacrificial lambs, all for the love of the almighty dollar. It's disgusting and it's ungodly. What is this, Dave? Is this right here? Is this more important to you than the people sitting here? Because
Dana,
that's
your time
literally
has
what your
expired.
actions are showing.
Your time has expired, Dana. Jeff Hayden. Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome. And I got more to say too. Trust me.
So currently, there's so many of these projects in the planning stages, the hyperscale data centers. How can you possibly calculate how much water that all of these things are going to use and there still be enough for the humans that live here? So the water is the lifeblood of the planet. Don't take it for granted. You think water's cheap? Try living without it. Can't do it. To use water in such large quantities for cooling seems to be pretty irresponsible with the water. So the companies that are proposing such large, expensive data centers projects, surely they can afford some other way of cooling their chips. rather than using the water and poisoning it. You know, as people, we rely on the water for life. Don't waste it on information. Read for the information. Communicate with one another for the information. Write to give the information to others. I hear many plans to use the water. Where's the plan to keep the water for us so that we can stay alive? So when you use your water at home or at work, either way, where does it go? You flush it down the drain. It goes back into the system. It's a cycle. So the water that they're going to use can't go back into the system. They've already put other stuff in it. It's going to take them time and effort to clean it, to ever allow it back into the system. And then who's going to be sure that it's actually clean? Because dilution is not the answer to pollution. That's all I got.
Thank you. Next, Linda Carr.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for listening. I don't have to rehash everything the people of Franklin County have brought to the P&Z and the commissioners. From all the concerns of the lies about land destruction, air pollution, overloaded electric grid, depleted and or contaminated water issues, noise issues, health issues, destructions of the surrounding communities, and the damages they will bring to our districts. Breaking and trying to change zoning laws. No environmental impact test. On and on. I'm from the Bowles Township. I've had no representation here. We've provided you with facts, proof, evidence by professionals in every field. We are into 7 months and we all asked at the beginning just for a year moratorium for good studies. We will not stop fighting and pleading for what we, the people, know without a doubt is good in the sight of God. You continue to drag your feet listening to the lying developers who don't live here, know nothing about our county, have offered little of nothing in regulations for our protection, no guarantees, no enforcement guarantees, no punitive damages to local residents and their livelihoods and properties. And they do not have any concern about the people who live here and pay the taxes. And you only seek information from big elites, CEOs, money-hungry business people, crooked lawyers, all for the love of money, which is the root of all evil. You continue to ignore us. You stated AI data centers are inevitable. They are coming. Guess what? It's inevitable that you're going to die like all the rest of us. None of us are God Almighty and can stop death. But He has given us the ability, the knowledge, the courage, and the wisdom to put a halt to these fake, corrupt, artificial, phony, costly, destructive infrastructures by being honorable, protective, respectable of His people that He created. King Solomon, the son of great King David of Israel, was asked by God what he wanted the most. And you know what he responded? He said, "Give me wisdom. That's what I want, so I can know how to rule the people." And when the Israelites kept turning their backs and doubting God's promises, He told the great prophet Jeremiah to tell them, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope." Okay, and a future. Proverbs 23 says, "For surely there is a future, and your hope will not be cut off." The only way our hope will be destroyed is if you have hardened hearts, and money is your God, and no care for the people of this county, and you vote to rezone God's land into industrial land for destruction. Stand with courage. Let Franklin County be known as the one county who stood up for their people. God will prosper us. He promised. Thank you for listening.
Amen.
Thank you for your comments. Travis Layton.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, like to piggyback on something Karen said. About 4 weeks ago, I sent y'all an email asking to get on the agenda so I could let you know the real story behind industrial cooling systems. It's what I do 30 years, and I haven't gotten a response on that. So that's kind of disappointing. That's one of the free local people who care that want to pitch in and do some consulting for free. And I wasn't taken up on that offer. I also wanted to point out RSMO 610020, Section 2. Each meeting shall be held at a time reasonably convenient to the public. I've heard a lot of people, especially at the Pacific meeting in the evenings, that said they would come to these if it was at a reasonable time. So why do we even have these laws if they're not followed? Steve Etcher, he's a character. I brought for you from Festus, since they've already went through that bad chapter, his presentation, copy of his proposal that was accepted and signed, and in it, his minimum engagement amount, $20,000 off the top, and then he's $400 an hour after that. And then he's so kind, he offers a $10,000 annual optional incentive compliance consulting. Wow, so kind of him. And I've also got a copy of the actual contract that he negotiated. It was awful. It's full of the sales tax abatements, Port Authority Chapter 68 revenue bonds. So, I mean, these developers, there's really nothing coming out of their pocket to build this junk. There's no risk. There's no skin in it. There's no risk. It's such a lopsided agreement. It's baffling. And, this $6 billion contract Etcher negotiated, it took him 1 month for a $6 billion contract. I've seen $1 million contracts that take months. This is insane. It seems so fake and phony. I just can't imagine there was any negotiating going on, that it wasn't all set up. It's just speculation. It's my opinion. It's just weird. Okay. Next thing. I have from Jefferson County the list of things they do when they get a conditional use permit, and I don't see why these aren't reasonable to rezone industrial next to residential. It has to be the character of the neighborhood. It has to fit in with that. Compatibility with adjacent property uses and zoning, sustainability of the property for which the conditional use is being requested, extent to which the proposed use will negatively impact the aesthetics of the property and adjoining properties, extent to which the proposed use will injure the appropriate use or detrimentally affect neighboring properties, and so on. It's basically all about that. And last thing, real quick, about lawsuits. If you're worried about them suing you, you're going to get the citizens suing right away if you pass the zoning. And then years down the road, when people are getting sick, you're going to have a lot of lawsuits then too. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rachel Luella.
Hello, commissioners.
Good morning.
I mean, first off, I'll go back to what I've been going on since November, that handicap door needs to be watched. It was not again this morning. So I feel for Mr. Elkins whenever he says that he's been emailing. Like, if we can't follow a law that's over 30 years old, how can we follow laws currently? So I would implore you to please kind of keep that handicap door watched. I thought it was good to bring up the time capsule today. 1976. Wow. I hope in 50 years it would be 2076. I hope that we can open up the time capsule. There are people around and we can be proud of what we did today. I would like to submit Pacific's 12-month moratorium so that you can have something to go off of if you want to listen to us constituents. We here in the audience are the ones being asked not only to accommodate these monstrosities, but to also now pay for them. I've learned to keep an eye, especially here on the county level, more so than the city. Pacific, they are actually listening and doing things. They have a meeting tonight. The the Springline Advisory contract, I was just skimming through the Missourian last week and found it in the public notice. We're here. You can tell us, instead of having one-off meetings, this is the meeting. You can speak to us directly. That is what the aldermen put a stop to in January, that there would be no more closed-door meetings. I know that we have one coming up in about 10 minutes. So I would implore you, just please stop with the shenanigans, listen to us, talk to us like humans, because we are a visual representation of when you ignore a problem, it's only going to get bigger. We deserve communication. I would like more information on the Springline Advisory. I have a request out. I know Mark is well aware of it. Why are we being asked to pay for this company directly? There is a company off of 47 and 50. They do a wonderful job on taxes. I think we need an outside firm to really know what we're paying for, what they're getting. I am highly skeptical on the tax situation. I agree that we need the environmental review. We need a natural heritage review. Please just prove one thing to us to help us believe anything that you say. Because I agree that NDA being signed on December 23rd, what a date. The day before Christmas Eve, you know everyone's out of town. Please do things on the up and up, because if you can't sleep with yourself at night, I would not want to be you. Please listen to us. I have not at one of these meetings heard one resident besides Bill McLaren speak in favor of these propositions. Please give us more information on Springline Advisory. Keep that handicap door open. Please respond to Mr. Lighton. I would like him to have a presentation to Mr. Elkins for the affected homes. Just listen, please.
Thank you for your comments. Charlotte Smith.
I'd like to delegate my time to Dave Bowers.
We're not delegating time to anyone. If you want to speak, you come forward and speak. Your time begins now. So you've already spoken, Dana. Charlotte, are you going to speak? Are there any elected official or departmental reports? Mr. Baker.
Morning.
Morning, Tim.
A couple of housekeeping things. We were going to set up for no excuse absentee today in the rotunda, but we are going to do that Monday. So it'll be the last week. They're still voting in our office, but due to personnel conflicts, we need to push that off. So we will not have anything up in the rotunda until next Monday. Also, as a follow-up, when we talked about whenever we switched to the SAMS, I think it was, for the GIS system for the ballots, we were in a contract with another company. We have since received our money back. So I just wanted to report that we did receive our money back on that. So we're good there. So
that's good.
Right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Any other elected or departmental reports? Seeing none. Any further discussion for the commission?
No, sir.
I have one comment. I know we get questioned a lot on emails that are sent to us, whether or not we read them or not. We do look through them, but as I guess a point of advice, when you send us an email and says, click on this to see something, we can't click on it. And that's Chuck back there. We have, unfortunately, we're in a situation where there's so much challenges out there with the internet and such that you don't know where that thing's going to send you. You know, we're not saying that you're sending us stuff that's bad, but the possibility is there. So don't send us something that says click on it and go here. I'd rather see, information and it's your own information. If you have something, then share it. We read it.
But we are seeking information from experts.
We're not
We
going
are
to.
not experts. That's fine. We will email to you the link to go get it. We will have it so you can type it in and get it.
We won't click on it.
We
No,
won't
we
ask you
can.
to click on it. We will write it out for you so that you can do it. I'll tell you what. We'll put it on a USB stick and have it sent to you. Is that
The actual. Well, I mean, we'd have to go through her IT, but that sounds safer to me than it does clicking on a link. Yes.
Well, we'll ask Travis. We'll ask our resident nerd on how to take care of it. We'll make sure that you get the information that you need because you
Well,
are going to be held culpable.
We go by, we have someone hired for that. I appreciate Travis's time, but we have a responsibility, and we rely on Chuck for our IT type stuff. We rely on Mark for our legal stuff.
Well, clearly it's not working.
That's a matter of opinion. Thank you.
Any further commission discussion? I see your hand up, and
Not I.
I was just curious if you send an email, can't there be a response like, hey, I got it? You don't have to click on anything, but you can say, yes, I got it. I always put stuff in there that's not a click. There's nothing in a link, and I don't get any response.
I wouldn't say that is the case. And I sent some today before I came in here. I'm sending out that I received an email, or I read an email, or I reviewed information.
I got one from you. I think I sent 7 total. For free. No.
But obviously, again, due to some of the IT concerns, as Ken stated, we're not clicking on links because we have no idea where that takes us to. We've seen, the cyber attacks and things that are occurring and fraud that's out there. It's part of the county policy that we don't go to links that we have no idea where they're coming from. So
That's what's the purpose of AI. It should get you where you need to go. And you kind of informed us of that so that we would know.
we're informing you now.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Travis, yeah.
I don't typically click on links like either. Even if it's somebody I know. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. No, I have a problem. I don't do it.
But I liked Ken's idea and the US machines. I did the USB thing to get around that.
Thank you.
That was good to have a two-way conversation. I want to do that. And I just was wondering, will I get a response to my email about getting on the agenda? Or you're just not interested, you don't have time? I mean, I didn't do read receipt, make sure you read it. Like that.
As far as, again, we can talk after this, or after we get done here. Sean, you have a question.
Can we get a quick synopsis on your EPA meeting, and did you or did you not recommend CERCLA to them as an option?
I can give you a brief synopsis on the exit meeting from the Brownfield grant. Nicole is not here, obviously. Jim Grutch was on that with us. One of the things they made very clear from the onset of that meeting that they would not discuss any other departments of EPA. It was only related to the Brownfield grants. So we didn't have any other conversation on any other grant opportunities or EPA departments. One thing that became very clear as we went through the criteria and how we scored out of 155 eligible points, we scored 128. There was over 200 and some odd, 290. Maybe I don't have the number exact, but a fair number of grants, 200 plus grants were submitted. 71 were chosen. Out of the 71 that were chosen, they score between 153 and 155. And they didn't tell us how many were 155, how many were 153, but they were nearly perfect as far as their score. So you can see that we were 128. But it ranged from 29 points to 155. So in those applications, I felt like we did a fair job of getting as much information in there. But it became very clear that repurposing the site was part of the criteria in which that we were deficient in our scoring, because it's not a site that we can repurpose. I don't know how we can plan for that site where some of the sites that were successful, obviously, probably were repurposing, land, something they could turn it into or change it to that the public could use. One of the other things that we probably were deficient in was our poverty level. Our poverty level is what it is. We can't change that, but we were probably behind people that were in a more impoverished area that scored better in that particular realm. We will be able to submit a FOIA request for information once all of these grants have been adjudicated and they have been finally awarded. Then we can get a breakdown that we can have written, and it'll show us exactly how we scored. But we took a lot of notes from that. Again, I'm not telling you that we wouldn't or shouldn't reapply for that situation, but we're going to struggle against other projects that have either a more impoverished area and or they may be have a better reutilization process than what we could have for that land potentially. But we were fully sufficient in the first criteria as whether it's an applicable project. We scored 100% of that, but then the other three categories, as they went down through there, we were dinged because of basically repurposing for the most part. Jim, is that a fair assessment of that?
That is a very fair assessment of the call. We could not record the call. We could only take notes as it was discussed.
What parameters decide whether or not it's repurposable?
That is with the EPA people that evaluate that. The board that evaluates it. There's a number of people that evaluate that.
So they didn't tell you why it's not repurposable?
I think that you had to state what you were repurposing it to. You know, that had to be part of the criteria, what you were going to do with it after you got it site cleaned up. What were you going to do with it? Were you going to make it a park? Were you going to make it
That's probably why it was a good idea to try to have the people in that surrounding area present for the meeting so they could give some kind of idea of what they may like to see taxpayers.
What do you mean present for the meeting?
Like Jim Roberts being able to be privy to that meeting.
They were the only people that were eligible to be on that call was the applicant, that was us, and the staff that helped prepare that. And so Jim was not. It was not. They was very clear about that. I did ask if Mr. Roberts, I had him on the phone, if he could join in, and the answer was absolutely not. So that I'm not the EPA, but that was the rules.
I'm passing that on to you. It's weird.
Yeah.
EPA, government agency, sitting a tax dollar doesn't care what the taxpayer thinks.
Well, I mean, again, I was encouraged that we did as well as we did, but unfortunately, we have a long ways to go. If every grant coming in the future is going to kind of get to that point of 153 to 155, you got to hit all the matrix in order to be able to be successful.
Appreciate the discussion.
Yep.
Did the EPA say that there is absolutely no availability to repurpose it, or is it just because there was no repurpose plan proposed?
We did not have a repurpose plan proposed in our application.
Created any form of repurposing plan?
No, I don't think that we have. I'm not sure how we repurpose this a remote site.
Make it a reserve, like give it back to nature, call it a day. Is that not an applicable repurposing?
Again, that may, I mean, what we learned from that exit meeting, we will have to go back and make a determination how we can improve in those particular criteria in which we didn't score as well, because they gave us line item by line item how to do that. I mean, so if we can come up with things that I'm going to call it, if we can put some fluff in there that would help us elevate our scores, you know, that's what we would learn. That's what we learned from that particular conversation.
Is there a way to bring that information back to us, the people, so that we could actually sit down and help come up?
As I stated, I think it's going to be September. It's going to be sometime in September before that information can be requested. They said we can request it now, but you won't get it simply because they have not gone through all of the applications, the exit meetings, and all the things that are going on there. But when they do that, you can request, and we wrote it down. We can request that information so that we could look at it and then send that out to the public. So, but we just have what we were able to take and glean from notes. So, any further discussion? I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Mr. Elkins, if you come forward.